So taking the last few breaths to finish this meditation. Taking one breath into the heart, sending the inhale into the middle of the chest. Exhaling, releasing, letting it go from the heart, from the chest. Then inhaling into the throat. Exhaling, releasing it from the throat, softening the throat. And inhaling into the space between the eyebrows, sending the inhale there. And exhaling, releasing from between the eyebrows. And then softly, softly you can open the eyes, maybe first looking to the ground, gently fluttering the eyelids open. And then maybe coming back to the room with the gaze. Just checking in with yourself first. Checking in with your own body. And then on your fingers, out of 10, you're going to show me the level of intensity with which you want to move your body this morning. So without looking at anyone else, and maybe even with the eyes still closed, first number that comes to mind, going to hold up that number of fingers out of 10. Only after you've checked in with yourself fully. If you've already shown me, you can release the palm. If you still want to show me, go ahead. Then we'll slowly, slowly transition into child's pose, so take your time. And maybe today you bring the bolster underneath your bum, on top of the heels, to offer that extra support for the body. To not have to force the hips into the heels. And as you get here, take the first inhale to walk the fingertips forward, to stretch from the front of the armpits. And as you exhale, release the pelvis. Send the hips back. And as you do that, you find that support of the bolster. You can start releasing the knees into the ground and the toes into the ground. And then think of anything else you want to release from the body and leave it here. And give it to Mama Gaia, the earth. And not take it with you. Leave it here. Then you can either stay in child's pose if that works for you, or you can thread your right palm under the left armpit to go for a gentle spinal twist. And then looking underneath your left tricep, you can keep the hips down here. Maybe the left palm goes up and then turns back and then rests at the crease of the right hip. And again, exhaling, releasing from the right shoulder into the ground. And think with awareness, what are you releasing? What is coming out of the tension in the muscles, in the connective tissues? And with every exhale, softening the body even deeper. And with every exhale, maybe encountering new spaces that need softness, that need releasing. Then gently, gently going for the other side. So left palm presses into the ground. Be gentle with yourself. Move slowly. Left palm underneath the right armpit. Left ear down. Left shoulder down. Big inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. Release the air. Then maybe the right palm goes up, turns around and goes behind you and gets tucked at the left hip crease. The next exhale, we're going to gently come back to child's pose. You can either stay here or you can transition into puppy pose, which is not that far away. You're just going to bring the knees a little closer and you're going to stack the knees underneath the hip joint. And maybe you have a bolster underneath the forehead. So what you're going to do is you're just going to keep the hips over the knees as the head comes down. And then depending on your neck mobility, maybe the chin comes down. And if it's too intense for the shoulders, then you back away and just press with the palms into the floor, releasing the head down. Then inhaling, walking the palms back towards the knees. We're going to bring the legs forward, keep the knees bent. Just going to open up the hip joints. So swinging the knees from left to right. And you can rest the palms behind you. And just see how the hips are feeling, the knees, the ankles. And then maybe you want to keep the palms in front of you and see how far left you can go. And then see how far right you can go. And slow this movement down. So this requires a bit more core engagement, if that's what you want. And then if not, you're always welcome to come back here. Just explore the fluidity of the joints. And then you're going to find a space where you're resting both heels in front of you. Just going to bring your right ankle on top of the left. Start opening the right hip. So moving that right knee away from the right shoulder. And then we go left. And then we go right until your legs touch the ground here. So until the right foot stamps the floor, then until your right thigh stamps the floor. And then when this is done, you can rest in the center. And you can stay here, or you can come into a bridge pose. So for the bridge pose, you really need to feel into what's good for your wrists here, because everyone's different. So maybe the fingers are pointing to the bum, maybe outside, maybe they're pointing back. But what you're going to do is bring the force into the left heel and start bringing the pelvis all the way up, maintaining the neck in neutral without dropping the head if you can. Then think of bringing the pelvis up to the ceiling and bringing the heart to the ceiling. 2 more breaths if you're coming up with us. 1, 2. Exhale brings you down. Shake out the wrists if you need to. Try a different position for the wrists. And we'll go for 1 more time. Inhale, pelvis up, chest up, shoulders opening. And you don't need to go all the way, just go as far as the body needs. 2 more breaths here through the nose. 1 and 2. Exhale brings you down. You're going to switch to the other side. Start opening your left hip just with its own strength without using your arm. Then feel into the knee, make sure the knees are safe here. So pointing your toes up towards the knee. And then we'll go left, and then we'll go right. And then whenever you're ready, you'll come into this bridge pose. Really engaging that right glute here. 2 more breaths through the nose. Make them as smooth and slow as possible. 1 and 2. Exhale, bring the glutes down. Again, maybe a recheck with everything, ankle, knee, wrists. We'll go 1 more time. Inhale the pelvis all the way up. Micro bend in the elbows here, not hyperextending in the elbows. 2 smooth long breaths. So 1, 2, exhale brings you all the way down. Gonna connect the feet, come into Baddha Konasana, and then maybe your bolster is nearby, and maybe it's in the front, and maybe it's doubled up. They're so thin, there's extra ones. So maybe you're folding with the heart towards the ankles, maybe the forehead comes down. Maybe there's also blocks somewhere in there to keep you up. We'll stay here for 10 long breaths. Then from here, slowly transitioning into all fours and then into downward dog. Folding the knees together. Tucking the toes, keeping the knees bent a lot for this first one. Just sending the chest into the hips. Maybe pedaling out the heels, bringing one heel down at a time. And then walking the feet towards the palms, very slow, take your time. We're gonna end up in a forward fold here. So separating the feet, hip distance, so 2 fists between the bones of the feet that are sticking out at the base of the big toe. Then you're gonna hold the opposite elbows, release the neck, make the head heavy. Bend the knees a lot, again, so that the low ribs are resting on the thighs. And maybe swaying super slow, left to right, and swaying from the pelvis rather than from the waist. So being in touch with where the spine starts at the base of the pelvis and initiating movement from there, from the base of the spine. And as you're ready, we'll come into a sun salutation. So super slow, take your time. Root to rise, palms are gonna come up overhead. Tuck the chin so you don't get dizzy. Gaze ends up at the thumbs at some point, slow. We're going to come down just as slow. Feel every sensation in the body arising here. Inhale into flat back. As you get there, roll the shoulders back away from the earlobes. Exhale, palms down. We're gonna step back and come down to the knees. If you want, you can of course chaturanga from the toes. And then keeping the elbows close to the lower ribs, the eyes of the elbows looking at me. Exhaling, chest comes down super slow. And then taking your time, coming into a cobra just as high as you need to come. And when you get to your version of cobra, you're going to roll the shoulders back away from the ears. Make the side neck long. Exhale, tuck the toes, bend the knees. Send the hips back. Come into downward dog. Pedal out the heels one more time. We're going to lift your right heel into the air. Bend the right knee and then make large circles with the right knee. And release and go for the other side. Left heel up. Left knee bends. Big circles, left knee. Then exhale, left foot down. Knees come down to the ground, super wide, child's pose, resting. With your next inhale, let's come into downward dog one more time. Walk the feet all the way forward. Move slow like you're moving through molasses here. Stay in this forward fold for a moment. And then as we come up from this forward fold, you're going to bring your right knee bent up with you. So you're going to transfer all your weight onto the left foot, left leg, and as you come up with the strength of that left leg with the right knee bent. And again, move slow. This is where the control resides. And then you're going to find your hips in space and find, if you're hiking up your right hip, you're going to lower the right hip down. And from here, maybe you're opening the right hip to the side. Your left palm can stay on the waist, on the hip. Finding a spot on the floor that's not moving. Fixing the gaze there. 2 more breaths here. 1, 2. Slowly gonna close the right hip joint. You're gonna bring your right ankle onto the left knee. Come sit down into the chair. Maybe your palms are holding your right leg. Maybe you're in Anjali Mudra here. Whatever you choose to do. Again, finding stability and finding that spot on the floor that's not moving, fixing the gaze. 2 more breaths. 1 and 2. Again, maintain that control, maintain the strength of the left leg. You're gonna come up with the right knee up. And then for more stability, you can take up space with the arms. You're gonna go for airplane. So you're gonna send the right heel all the way back. Bring the chest down. Maybe the arms are in a T. Maybe the arms are pointing back to the back of the room. And then exhale, forward fold. Bring that right leg down. Big exhale through the nose. Release from the face, release from the shoulders, from the front of the throat. Say yes with the head, say no with the head. Check in with that cervical spine. Then when you're ready, we're going to start lifting up with that left knee this time. Super slow, take your time. Again, check in with the hip joint if you're hiking up the left hip. Bring it down, level with the right. Left toes are active, looking at the left knee. And then exhale, start opening the left hip. 2 more breaths. 1 and 2. Start closing the left hip joint. And again, decide what you want to do with the arms here. Left ankle, right knee. Come sit down. 5 breaths. Pick a spot that's not moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super slow. You're going to come up with the left knee up. Send it back. Airplane warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release, forward fold. Release the neck, release the shoulders. And we'll do one last sun salutation and then move into the floor sequence. So inhaling, palms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, super slow. Inhale, palms on the shins, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga from the toes or the knees. Inhale, cobra. Coming up any amount. Exhale, tuck the toes. Downward dog or child's pose here. Okay, you have an option here to come. Bring your right heel up. Touch the left glute, and maybe flip that dog and open through the chest. And if not, maybe you're just opening the right hip joint. 2 more breaths here. 1 and 2. Exhale, switch to the other side. Left heel up, leg straight, and then bending the knee. Opening through the left hip as much as you can. Almost letting that weight of the left leg to tip you over back. Keeping the shoulders square towards the floor. And release the leg. Look between the thumbs. You're gonna step or walk or hop to the front, into flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And then as you forward fold, you're gonna start sitting down towards the floor, making yourself into a little ball. And then we're gonna roll onto the spine, bring the knees in with you. We're gonna go for a twist here. So we'll bring the knees to the left first. So options, you can either have knees glued together, or maybe just the right knee comes to the left, or maybe eagle legs. Maybe you're intertwining the right knee on top of the left, and then maybe scooting your pelvis a little to the right so you have more space, and then drop the knees to the left. Open up the arms in a T, take up space. Feel into that twist. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth. Allow that right shoulder to drop even lower. And as you're here, you're trying to relax all of the muscle groups that are not holding you up. And then as your knees are looking to the left, see if your gaze wants to go towards the right, twisting the spine a little more. Você. If you're ready, you can switch and go for the other side. And if you're doing eagle legs, you can scoot the pelvis to the left. Give more space for the twist. The side might feel different. Just notice that. Be present with it. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth. Release the left shoulder. And then check in with the neck. Maybe since the knees are looking to the right, the gaze will want to look to the left. If that feels good in the neck today. And then we'll transition into our last pose. Gonna bring the knees back up to the center. So this one is called Banana Asana. And hopefully we get some bananas after this. You're gonna stay on your back. Belly facing up to the ceiling. And then you're gonna walk your heels towards the right. So your legs are coming towards the right. You're gonna start feeling tension in the left hip. Then you're going to bring your arms overhead and start walking the wrists towards the right as well. And then finding that bend in your waist. So expanding the waist on the left, contracting the waist on the right. And your left shoulder blade is staying on the ground and your left hip is staying on the ground. Then if you want a bit more, you can hold your left wrist with your right palm. Just pull it towards the right a little bit. And you can bring your left ankle on top of the right if that feels good. If not, don't worry about it. And again, softening and relaxing into the floor. If you're ready to switch for the other side, super gently, we're going to go back to the center. Walk the heels to the left. Keep the glutes where they are. Walk the wrists to the left. Contraction on the left, expansion on the right. And then whenever you're ready, you can come back to the center. Slowly move into Shavasana. And shine the palms towards the ceiling. Sink the heels into the floor. You're gonna start taking deeper breaths into the body to start coming back to the room. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes. Gently rolling onto your right side. Maybe the knees into the chest, coming into this fetal position. Remembering that you can nurture yourself. And thanking yourself for coming here, for taking care of yourself. And sealing all that gratitude in. And coming up to seated, rising as a new woman. It's a new version of yourself. You lasted to the end.
I'm like, where did everyone else go?
I think they worried about timing and like showering and packing. But you packed already probably.
Yeah, last night. It was so hard. I'm like, it took me an hour trying to figure out how to squeeze everything in my one carry-on. Okay, shift this, push this. And I'm like, okay, well, these are dirty clothes, and I don't really want anything to smell, so I put it all together, but like it was just too much dirty clothes versus clean clothes. I was like,
You're just gonna have to throw everything into a wash.
Yeah, I was gonna do that.